Right, so let's just get going then. Looking over the markets. Last week was really, really good. Waiting on quite a few setups. A few setups that were missed. But obviously we had Euro AUD, which was an absolute fucking belter. Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar, one stop out, and then if you guys would have joined the line, that wasn't a stop out if you didn't take the trade. That was across swaps, which usually you see this, but this was explained. And yeah, like some really, really good stuff. So take profit targets were really good. Was just looking to go up to this key level here, which ended up being a good trade. Didn't take Euro NZD, although kind of looking back on it now, we had I posted a trade here, and then price actually came back down, tapped into this level, and it's now kind of making its way back up to this level here, where we know sellers are really happy. I mean, it's actually already tapped into it, but it looks like price wants to tap into it again. So it's looking good for price on the kind of pairs that I really, really like. I'm going to run you over the first setup that I'm looking at for the week. Now, the first setup that I'm looking at for the week is probably going to be Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar. It's going to be a simple break and retest. So price is like really, tapping into this level here. It really, really wants to push above it. So we're going to be looking for a big push. We're looking for a breakaway, and then we're going to look for a retest where we want to see price really take the next level out, which is going to be it's probably going to be up here. What we'll most likely see price do is like come up to around this level here, and then pull back down, and then look to go up. Now, in terms of targets, we can look at a couple. You can get away with easily 15 pips on this pair. 15 pips is a nice stop. You can look at a few targets. We can either look at this one here, or we can look a little bit higher, where we're going to look towards that double top, which I think price will realistically easily reach. Fundamentals are there. It's looking quite good. So yeah, we're going to look for a break and a retest on the 4 hour. Although this level did actually break and retest on the 4 hour here, this was during like a very impulsive move with news. So just nice and simple on this one. Looking for the continuation. So that's going to be setup number one. Great British Pound AUD. We've actually already started moving into the setup, if you look. So we had this impulsive move followed by a consolidation, and now what we're looking for is price is going to want to go all the way to the top. Price is going to want to come out and wipe out this area of liquidity up here. I think it's going to continue personally. Unless we might have found like a new range that we're working in. But yeah, we're definitely going to be looking to wipe out some of these levels up here. And if we look, as I say, I always want a bit of confidence on both pairs. This is probably going to be a relatively imminent position. If we look as well, actually, we can have a look at where the key levels most likely going to be, where price is reacting off. So if we look here, here's a nice level for maybe price to pull back to. Yeah, maybe for price to pull back to, but we'll see. Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar has more clarity, but this is an A+ setup as far as I'm concerned. So I'm really, really, we can, even just look to wipe out that liquidity up there. Yeah, so we've got a few take profit targets realistically. But anyway, the point of it is we're getting nice movement in the markets, finally. So we want to be able to capitalize on it and take advantage. Now, we'll move on to Great British Pound CAD. Euro CAD, I don't really like the look of, I'm not going to lie. Bit head and shoulders-y, but, I don't know. Obviously, we've broken this level here, which price has not been able to break out of for fucking ages now, for 6 weeks. Price has actually broken above it. We're now looking at retesting it. So we'll see what happens with this. Not massively interested in the trade on it compared to other pairs. A simple break and retest and state, I think it's going to be fucking pointless. Also, we have technically closed below it on the 4 hour, so. But anyway, the point of it is it's very bullish at this particular moment in time. I'm very interested in Great British Pound CAD. Now, we've been quite patient with this one. Obviously, we've seen this higher time frame trend line price really break away from it, and it's been consolidating back down to it. The problem is that the fundamentals are different. So what the fundamentals are saying is, because a lot of Canada's economy is based on raw products, so oil, gas, natural resources. When the price of oil shoots up, the Canadian dollar usually gets stronger. So obviously it means, this will go down. But the technicals are still looking really good. We've kind of got like this very, very weak flag, this very weak downtrend. We'll see what happens. I'm looking for just a break of some kind of key level before price moves to the upside. But it's kind of nice because Great British Pound AUD, Great British Pound NZD, and Great British Pound CAD are all looking quite good. So, that gives me high hopes for the trade. This is probably my preferred setup. Then we go in just because we've got the downtrend, and then we kind of go on to Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar, and stuff like that. USD CHF missed this actually. This kind of squeeze the other day on a clear downtrend. There's going to be probably some more short opportunities on this, so it's just worth keeping an eye, because you get quite nice price action, moves relatively quick as well, so you can usually hit like a 6R in a day. It will all depend on realistically what kind of happens with with Iran and Israel over the next week. That is really driving the markets at this moment in time. So what will happen, obviously I've said, so if the tensions don't simmer down, CAD will probably fall. A lot of money will move into A lot of money will move into CHF pairs. So it'll move into the safe havens, USD CHF. And what we'll also probably see is a continuation to the downside on pairs or on indices like German 30, because you've got to look at it as when there's risk in the markets, money moves out of stocks and it moves into the safe havens such as CHF, JPY, and all of those pairs. Brings me to the next point. Now, NZD JPY, maybe it's a bit arrogant, but I'm still very confident that this is going to go short. It might not. I mean, it's kind of given some indications that, kind of looking to break out, I guess, of this little downtrend here on NZD JPY, but I still just think it's going to be a short. If we look at Great British Pound JPY, okay, we'll go on the daily for this. We look at Great British Pound JPY, obviously been on a massively clear uptrend, and price is now slowing down. Buyers are really slowing down here, so we can see the prices, market's trending up. Market's like now kind of trending up here, but it has reached a ceiling. This is the kind of ceiling. If it breaks this ceiling, then obviously there's going to be a lot more upside. I will not be trading the upside. I'll be looking for the short setups, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. When you start to see the level of buy and change, pretty clear uptrend here. When you start seeing it wear out, that's your early sign of you want to start looking for short positions. Also brings me on Great British Pound CHF. I'm going to leave my order open. I've actually put it a bit higher now. I've had an order here on Friday. It literally missed my entry by, I think, 0.5 pips, which is fucking irritating because that's quite a big stop for CHF pairs. But it's already at a 2R. So if you did manage to get into this, I would hold it. Because if, say, for example, the geopolitical tensions, if they get worse, you're going to see a massive decline in Great British Pound CHF. and this is like an 18-hour trade. I mean, you probably could have tightened it up, to be fair. But there'll be some good money that can be made on this, so just try and hold on to it, trail stops, get out of the trade. Well, gradually. For example, take profit one, take maybe 40%, 50% or something. We know there's a lot of buyers situated around this level anyway. We can see the reaction here, but the market's done pretty much exactly what you would want it to do for this setup. If we invert the scale, some people like to see buys a little bit more. We can definitely see that. I mean, I see this setup better from a buyer's perspective anyway, because it's the first setup that I took that was my big setup, and it was a buy. But we can see we've obviously had this really clear. This was an uptrend. The scale's inverted, and price has just made this inverse head. Well, it's made a head and shoulders. Price has come back as retested, and price is hopefully going to move up. Bear in mind that if you did manage to take this trade, or if you are looking to be able to get into this trade, but you want to try and find a way into it, say that is the last retest of this level, you want to try and find a way into it, because price just moves on these CHF pairs. When there's a sell-off, it triggers a mass sell-off. As I say, all the money will flow into it, and price will just continue to move to the downside. So I'm just going to mark these up actually. So yeah, that's really all I'm looking at for the week. That's all I'm looking at for the week. These Great British Pound and AUD and NZD are trailing quite far behind Euro AUD and stuff like that. So these are over exhausted. They're going to be harder to find positions, but there's definitely going to be some positions in. There's definitely going to be some positions on. I can see price even just now, just looking at it. There's a nice entry. We're probably going to get a continuation across Asia, to be fair. So, yeah, really, really nice bullish setups, and he's definitely going to be looking for buys like imminently. I'm really hoping that wasn't the entry on Great British Pound CHF, so I'll be fucking devastated if that. I love shorting the CHF pairs. I absolutely love shorting the CHF pairs. I'll be devastated if that taps in and just moves to the downside. Right. Let's get cool. Right, so I'll stop the recording now.